Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over the best settings and all of my attachment choices in the whole game. I'm in a training grounds right now. This is the perfect spot to show you guys my recoil. As you can see right here, I'm using the F2 with the extended barrel. And yeah, no recoil. Recoil's never really been a problem for me. I don't know why. I don't know, you just gotta pull down really. That's all there is to it. And you gotta put in a lot of reps. I can't say it's always not been a thing for me, but you just gotta put in the reps and training grounds and stuff. You gotta put in the reps online. And eventually you're not gonna have any recoil like this. It honestly doesn't even matter what attachments you use, but I know a lot of people have been requesting that I show you my attachments, so that's what I will be doing in this one. Just for you guys. I just got on to do this too. Has anybody noticed how the bots always come back to the same rooms on this map? It's so strange. I've been noticing that. They always come to like here and then this corner here. And then they always reset to like the basement. They're always in the exact same spots. But yeah, literally no recoil on the F2 with the extended barrel even. This is console, by the way, if you're wondering. I heard it does have more recoil on PC, but I'm not sure. Regardless, let's go ahead and get into this video now. I'm going to go to the main menu so I can show you guys my stuff. Okay, now I'm on the settings. I'm going to go through everything on the entire list pretty much, even the sensitivity that I use. At the end of the day, I think it's personal preference on what sensitivity you're using. I don't think it's going to make you a better player using someone else's like mine. It's all about yourself, really. You got to find your own. Sure, maybe you're good with mine, and then you can tweak it just a little bit and find your own, but regardless, I will show you guys. A lot of people ask for my sense and my settings in general. So I will start at the top. Don't mind how I'm copper 4. I've only played a few matches so far on my main account, all solo queue. It has not gone well in those few matches either. And when I say a few, I mean like 3 or 4. When I'm recording this, at least. Getting close to the level 400 finally, though. But okay, starting on the matchmaking preferences. On that, I literally just use the new consulate map, like you guys just see me playing, for when I warm up on training grounds. I usually do like 1 or 2 of those before I get on. And I do like some of the shooting range they added. I do have an entire drills video I did on that. I will try to link that in the description, but no promises, because I always forget after I end up editing. First in the settings though, besides the matchmaking, I use cycle inside camera groups on. That pretty much just makes it easier to cycle through all your different camera groups. Like when you're on Echo drones, Vault cams, Maestro, all that stuff, Mozzie cams, just regular default cams, you know. It makes it easier just to go through all of them very quickly instead of having to go individually through the entire list. You have 2 different buttons for that, I believe. For this one, that's very important, semi-automatic. Either do that or manual for the drone after prep. You never want to get caught in the open on your drone right when it ends on 0. That used to be the most annoying thing back in the day. Any OG players remember that? The worst. I turn match replay off. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I play on old gen. So I think it maybe helps my frames a little bit. Because I only get like 60 to 70 or so. Any other 60 box players would know what I'm talking about. I do use crossplay because why not? I'm not scared of anyone. On the HUD settings, the only thing I have different is health. I don't like having that on. I just feel like it distracts me. It makes you play like less aggressive in some situations when I feel like I should just peek really. Especially since I only solo queue pretty much for my solo queue series. And if you guys haven't checked that out too, that's the main thing I do on this channel if you're new. Very informational. I have a lot of commentary during my game. Try to help you guys out as much as I can during them. But going on to audio, the only thing here really is the night mode. I'd always recommend that because you can hear footsteps a little bit better. Also, I turned this down to 80 because I increased my headset volume on Xbox by like 2 bars the other day. I only had it on like half. Now it's like 3/4 or something. and I can hear so much better. I don't know what I was doing all along. I use earbuds to play, and my god, it's so much easier to hear stuff now. Like this last week or two, I've been switching to that. So good. So I've turned this down just a little bit since it was very loud. But that's just up to you. It doesn't really matter. Going on to display though, I use 90 FOV. I think anything above 75 is fine. I might try out 84 or something soon. Brightness just depends on your monitor. I'd use like 60 to 65 usually. Okay, on this stuff, I use classic rotation. I'm never going to try that. I use 55 for my vertical, 85 horizontal, 12.5 dead zones because I do have some crazy left stick drift. If you were wondering, I use a default Xbox One controller, the old like Xbox S released one, the white one. That's what I use. It is wired as well for no input lag. Not that it probably makes a difference, but still. And then I use a short left stick extender. The Control Freak, that's what it's called. I was forgetting the name. I use the short one on the left and the longer one on the right. I do some big thumbs, so I feel like that helps me a lot. Gives me some more room to maneuver. I think it always helps. So I'd recommend that. And then on the ADS settings, I use 27 1x, 34, 37, 40. I don't really use any scopes past the 2.5. I usually just use the first three here, so these are the important ones for you. Hold aim, obviously. I think on old gen as well, this makes a difference. Somebody told me in my comments in my last settings video it does. So I use enabled and then I turn everything to 0, and I feel like that makes it a little quicker for you. And I have felt a difference since I've changed that a couple days ago. I've always forgotten since I got that comment, but I finally remembered before making this one. So I'd recommend doing that for any old gen players. I think it makes a difference. I can't really tell yet, but I think so. Lastly, on the accessibility, I use black. I feel like this is the least distracting reticle color, so I do use that. You want to turn your screen shake off. You never want to have that on your throwing if you do. For team color too, I turn the opposing team to blue. I feel like nobody does this really, but it makes it easier to spot like claymore lines on the ground. I feel like blue is easier to see than like the red or the orange. They blend in a little bit to the ground more, at least in my opinion, so I just use orange and I've gotten used to it now. There will just be a learning curve with doing that if you change, so be ready for that. But okay, moving on to the attachments now. I'm going to go to sledge first. I will try to go through every gun in the game. I'll say ahead of time now, pistols, I just use that muzzle brake and laser for every single one in the game. So I won't have to go over every single one individually. I use lasers though, because usually if you're going to have your pistol out, I think they know where you are, so you don't have to worry about giving your location away. That just makes it so if like you get that first hipfire bullet, it's a little bit more accurate now. Just in case you pull it out really fast and shoot before you ADS fully. And you always want muzzle brake. I don't use suppressor unless it's like IQ pistol for shooting the gadgets through the floor a little quieter. But first, for the shotgun, I use not the Reflex B. I'll go over it on sledge too, but I'll talk more about this on smoke. I use the Reflex A. I use the laser on sledge, but I don't on smoke and mute actually. Again, I'll go over that when I get to them. But for sledge, I just use the L8 all the time. I use the 1.5 flash vert grip. I feel like this is a common loadout. Sometimes I'll swap it up and use angled because there's not too much recoil on this gun, and I feel like you can ADS just a little bit faster with that. But since sledge is like a 3 armor these days, it doesn't make that much of a difference because usually you're going to be playing more passive on him than some other ops like Ash or something. I do have 90 skins on this. I have a lot of sledge skins. I'll go over all my skins and stuff in a video soon too when I do my alpha pack opening. And that will be in the coming weeks for sure when I finish the battle pass so I have more Bravo packs. Okay, same thing for Thatcher pretty much. I have angle grip on right now, but I also use the 2x scope on him. Flash hider again for the L8, it's going to be the move every single time. But yeah, between these two scopes, I can never choose really. I go back and forth all the time. On like Habana, Zero, Ying. I never can choose which one I like better, so that's up to you. It's all personal preference, like I said. For the AR, I like the 1.5 flash vert grip, just the default loadout. This is going to be a common theme, these three right here. You're going to see this a lot from me. Unless like the extended barrel or the suppressor is part of the options. So yeah. And then on Thatcher, most of the ops that have breaches and Claymore, I like taking Claymore instead. Because usually when I'm solo queuing, I'm going to be going to like windows and stuff. I'll be swapping around the map, going back and forth places, and I like to have the Claymore in case they get very aggressive on me, which happens a lot in the higher ranks, especially. Okay, Ash, like I said, Claymore over Breach, but are you jealous? The double black ice on Ash. But on this gun, I use the angle grip extended right now. I go back and forth between the grips on this one and the barrel. I think my favorite of all time is probably suppressor angled, which might be weird, but on console, it's actually not that bad. On console, there's actually a little bit less vertical recoil than on PC, at least last time I tried testing it. I used to test that back on the test servers when they came out. Even if my laptop's horrible, I could still see the recoil patterns, right? And there used to be more for vertical, actually, for PC, but less horizontal recoil on PC, which is very strange, but I guess it's just how it is. It might not be like that now. I don't know. That was a few years back, so take that with a grain of salt, but for all I know, that's how it is. But that's why I use an angle grip. There's not as much vert on console. So it's not going to be too bad. You can see the thing on the bottom right there when I change this. Like, it isn't that much of a difference, really. And recoil is not much of a thing for me. Like I was showing in the intro, I was using Twitch with extended barrel and it wasn't that bad, so anything else is nothing. But yeah, this is my favorite skin combo here, probably. The black ice with the white. So good. For R4C, I think I use extended barrel as well with vert grip and the hollow A. Hollow A is my favorite 1x sight, I think. For a Thermite's gun, I use the 2x right now with a flash vert. I also love the setup with the... Wait, I don't have the right skin on. I had black ice, sure, but this legendary from back in the day, so good. Love that skin. And I use stuns usually on Thermite for when I'm solo queuing. For Twitch, I use the F2 all the time. I've never used the DMR really still. I know some people do these days, but I still love the F2. It's one of my favorite guns in the game, always will be probably. I miss Twitch ACOG. I use extended barrel like I said in the intro, but flash hider is also a good option. I kind of go back and forth depending on how I'm feeling that day. If I'm really feeling my recoil, I will use extended though, for sure. And I always use the 1.5 still. And then I use this pistol over the revolver. Don't have a laser sight on it for some reason. There we go. And again, I always take Claymore over the smoke when I solo queue, but sometimes I'll switch. It depends if I need to watch my run out or something on a window for whatever I'm doing. But I go back and forth. On Montaigne, there's not much here. On the shield ops, you pretty much just make sure you have the laser on. And that's all, really. And then I go back and forth between the three gadgets. It just depends on what you're trying to do that round. But that's all, really. I'd always use this pistol over the revolver. Because you're going for mini shots. Pretty cool Montaigne setup I got, too. I got the black ice on the shield. Okay, Glass. I don't really play Glass too much. Maybe I should more. He does have two secondary options that are good. The Gon 6 and the Bearing, depending on what you're trying to do. Am I missing something? No, I'm not. Okay. I'm going to put the hollow A on that one, though, too. The Bearing. I like it on that. I go back and forth between grenades and smokes, though, depending on what I'm trying to do. For the main gun, I use the red dot B. I feel like that's the cleanest for me. Either that one or the hollow A. They're both really good options. And then I use muzzle, obviously, for first shot. You're going to want to use muzzle on all DMRs. That's going to be the best option for you. Every single time. And then invert grip, obviously. You'll be ADS, so why not? Cool skin, too, I got. An older one. Okay, next is going to be Fuse. On Fuse, I actually use the 1.5 right now, but This is one of the rare guns I do like the ACOG on. For some reason, this and Abana, it actually feels pretty good still. If you can handle the ACOG and it's not too zoomed in for you, and you have the right sense for it, then I'd recommend it for sure. This gun with an ACOG scope is just insane. It's so unfair. I think it's the best gun in the game probably with the ACOG here. So zoomed in, especially when you're using like 90 FOV, it does feel nice. 40 damage, a high fire rate, no recoil pretty much. That's why I run the vert and flash. Sometimes I even run angled on this gun. It's that good. With ACOG, I'd recommend vert grip though. For the LMG, I've never used LMG really. I'd only do that on Finka. I use hard breach on him though, but it depends what you need. Once again, that's usually going to be the theme on secondary gadgets, unless they have grenades or stuns. Blitz, same thing as Monte, and not even go to him. IQ, I use the 5.52 on IQ. The other three guns, or the other two guns, are not too bad either. I used to love this one with the ACOG, but they took that away, unfortunately. That was one of my favorite guns in the game. I know Amaru still has it, but I loved that thing on IQ. This gun still has ACOG, I know. Not too bad either. But this one's just so good. Use extended barrel. Use vert grip 1.5. It's going to do wonders. 52 damage is insane. Oh, that's crazy. If you have a good ping, like say you have 9 ping or 20 ping or something, like you're going to be frying people with this kind of gun. With those slow fire rates like this, Brava, even like the UMP on Pulse, Frost. Those guns are going to do so much for you because all your shots are going to register. So the high damage is going to come in clutch. Well, my IQ's set up too. I don't play her much though. Buck's actually been one of my favorite operators recently. If you guys been watching my solo vids, you'd see that. I do use a laser on him for the shotgun. It helps when you're trying to use it as a weapon, and I think it feels better when you're making holes with it. Sometimes I'll use the extended barrel on him too. I'll actually put that on right now. I do like extended on Buck. 44 damage is nuts with the high fire rate too. I think this is one of the other best guns in the game. So good. 1.5 extended barrel is the play. And I always use Gone 6 plus stuns, unless I need to breach a wall. Buck is overall just really good for solo queuing. One of the best. Okay, Blackbeard, I'll show you really fast, but I won't even talk about it because I never played Blackbeard. There's the DMR. There's that gun. And that is all. Never play Blackbeard or throwing, really. He is not very good. Capitao, another really good slow fire rate gun with high damage. 52 damage on this one. I guess I did mention Brava, so same thing. I feel like it has no recoil either, so I use the angled plus the extended. And 1.5 is just too good not to use. And he also has the Gone 6 hard breach option, unless you need the claymores. Abana. I do like using Abana on Oregon a lot. I think right now, yeah, I'm using the 2x scope, but this is another one I try using the 2.5, the ACOG. I'd stay away from the Russian ACOG personally, but this one is really good still. If you have the right settings and stuff, and then the 2x is one of my other favorites, and then the 1.5. They all have their benefits. They all have their downsides, but still. I think 1.5 is probably the best, but I'm trying 2x right now personally. I'll slap the 1.5 back on there, why not? And then I use flash and vert grip for her. And for the bearing I went over earlier, there it is. And always use stuns. For Jackal, I use the C7 1.5 flash vert. Very consistent, very good gun. One of the best in the game again. For the PDW, also a very good gun. This is a hard choice. I use extended because not much recoil really with the 1.5 vert grip. And I use the secondary shotgun. I like my shotguns with the reflex A sight like I mentioned earlier. And I'll use a laser on it since I'm on offense. Just to help with the spread a little bit for getting hatches and stuff. And opening rotates. And then, depending on what you need, take smokes, take claymore, doesn't really matter. Oh, Ying. For Ying, I like using the 1.5 flash and angled. I feel like the angled is really good because you're going to be running into your candelas usually. So you can ADS just a little bit faster with that, especially since she's using an LMG, so it takes just a little bit longer. So I'd recommend angled for sure. You could also try suppressor. It's not too bad since you're going to be spraying in the candelas. So that way they won't see any indicators on the screen when they're getting unblinded. But I just use flash to help the recoil since I'm putting the angled grip on there. And I like the 1.5 because it's not too close, not too far. So perfect when you're rushing in. And then for the gadget, she has two good ones again. Just pick whatever you need. For Zofia, I use the 1.5 flash vert grip. I actually used to use angle grip on her. I don't feel like angle grip's too bad, really, to be honest. I'm going to slap that back on there now. What about that setup too? So good. I love my Zofia skins. For 1.5 or 2x though, I always switch back and forth. I do really like the 2x one on this, so I'll stick with that for now. And yeah. And I usually run Claymore on her just for windows and stuff. She's a good rappel operator. For Dokubi, once again, using the DMR, use the muzzle brake. Vert grip 1.5, you'll be holding a lot of angles with this. The 2x and the ACOG aren't too bad either though, especially the 2x. But this is my favorite setup on this. That way I can match what I use on a Rooney too if I'm playing them both, so it's more consistent. I do love the SMG-12 too. I've had some crazy clips with this. You guys have seen in my videos. I use Hollow A and Vert grip. There's not much choices on this really, but still. I feel like Hollow A is the best on there. I have like no recoil on that thing. It's crazy. Not to brag. Definitely to brag. Sometimes I'll use the Gon 6 though if I need to clear a shield or in a zombie barrier. And then I always go back and forth between stuns and EMPs. Just depends on what you need, like I said before, for like pretty much everyone else. Very versatile operators these days. Okay, for Lion, I use the 2x suppressor vert grip. This is a little bit different than some of the other ones, but I feel like this is good. He doesn't have extended barrels, so that's why I use suppressor. The damage is really good too, 44 damage. I do like this Lion loadout. I don't play Lion much. I used to back in the day, but not so much recently. Also, I don't know what this setup is. That is terrifying and also silly as hell. For Finka, I actually have the LMG equipped. I feel like the LMG isn't too bad. I would play her more if she had grenades still, but she doesn't. So I kind of don't. I think this gun is insane, though. If you run this gun and you can control recoil well, it can be very, very lethal. Still 46 damage, 680 fire rate, 100 bullets. So good. I feel like this one's not as bad as like Zofia's LMG is now. If you use the right attachments like this. And then you have the Gon 6 as well for rushing, or whatever you need to clear. Then I'd recommend stuns on it most of the time, because you're probably going to be playing aggressive with her. Maybe not, though. This gun's also good. I'll show you this one for the attachments if you needed to see. Same thing. For Maverick, I use the 2x extended barrel angle grip. This is kind of like the modern day R4C with the ACOG back when it had it. It's the closest thing you're going to get now. Since this gun doesn't have ACOG, you get 2x though still. Extended barrel though is going to up your damage to 49. I feel like this gun is very underrated. 49 damage with 750 fire rate. It's kind of insane. Maverick doesn't have much utility now right now in the meta. His blowtorch is kind of bad, but if you just take Maverick for the gun, you can't go wrong, honestly. Kind of can't argue that at this point. This gun is crazy good. Even if you use the vert grip, it's really good and not as much recoil. I feel like with these, though, no recoil still, so might as well. And then I use stuns always on him. Stuns are really good behind grenades. Those are the two best for sure. Okay, moving on to Nomad. I do really like the ARX with the vert grip that she has. Also a really cool skin. I like this one a lot. It's like the Black Panther skin. But this is my loadout for her. The AK is not bad either. Same attachments pretty much, besides the vert grip being gone. And then stuns once again. Next is going to be Gridlock. Gridlock is very underrated, especially when you're solo queuing. This gun is very underrated, just like her. Extended barrel, put the vert grip on there. Very high damage, very high fire rate. No recoil, really good gun. I switch between the shotgun, the super shorty, and then the Gon 6. Depends on what you need. Usually I'll take the Gon 6 so I can clear a shield or a zombie, like I said earlier. Gon 6 is really powerful when you're solo queuing especially. Gonna want that a lot. And then between EMPs and smokes usually I just switch back and forth. Those are your best two flank operators. Flank watch. For Nook, I do really enjoy playing some Nook. She's fun. I play her a lot in solo queue because of the grenades and just lurking around. She's a very fun operator to play though. Usually you get to shoot people in the back, so why not? As long as you're playing her right, not just baiting on the other side of the map the entire time. Suppressor just feels right when you're playing Nook. It's like Cav. But on this, I do use muzzle brake, not the suppressor. Again, I feel like if you're using a pistol, you're probably already revealed, so no need for the silencer at that point. Always run the grenades, unless you're trying to go for a hatch or something, I guess. For Amru, I really love this gun. One of my favorites in the game, too. I use the angle grip flash height at 1.5. I feel like it has no recoil even with this, because like I said earlier, console does not have much vertical recoil if you know how to control it like me. So this is really good. And then I use the shotgun so I can get hatches and stuff, but Gon 6, also not a bad choice. From what I was saying earlier, you get to clear some utility more. And then stuns or breach, very good options. Amaru is very underrated if you're playing her right. You're not just rushing in like an idiot. Callie is not very good. I wouldn't play Callie personally. I feel like you're throwing if you do. I use the SPS MG9. Honestly did not know that name until now. Oh, I'd throw the extended barrel on this one. That ups the damage to 36 with a 980 fire rate. That's kind of like a mini F2 to be honest. I think the damage is like what? 1 or 2 off with a flash hider on the F2. And then the fire rate's like even higher. Kind of crazy to be honest. You can control this gun, it's very good. If you're going to play Callie, just use this gun honestly. And use the sniper just to clear utility with the gadget. Maybe she's not that bad. Maybe I should try her sometime in a solo queue video. If somebody tells me in the comments down below, I will. So I hope nobody remembers to do that. Because I'd rather not play Callie, but for you guys I'd do it. Okay, but Nook now. Not Nook. Yana, I play the G36C. The 1.5 extended barrel, vert grip. I feel like this is my favorite loadout right now, but like I said on Ash, I used to always run suppressor angle grip, and that's good too. There's a lot of good options on this gun, I feel like. Always run grenades, obviously. Okay, next is going to be Ace. So Ace, you're going to want to run the AK-12, no doubt. One of the best guns in the game, like I mentioned on Fuse. I use the 1.5 flash vert. You can run angle grip on this one too, though. Since you're not as zoomed in, I feel like that's better than Fuse with the ACOG. With a shotgun, I guess I'll tell you, I use that. Why not? And I always run Claymore on Ace. He's your best solo queue hard breach, no doubt. Zero, another really good solo queue operator. I feel like nobody runs this really, but I use the 2X extended barrel and angle grip. I do always switch though between extended and flash and then 1.5 and 2X. It's so good with extended though. 50 damage is kind of insane. Almost like the 5.52 Commando or something. Just insane. On the MP7 though, why am I using this? Run the 1.5 flash. You can tell I never play it because I just feel like the other gun is so good. This one has just a slightly better fire rate though if you want to just go for headshots. Not too terrible. A little bit more ammo on there too. I always use Gon 6 and hard breach too on him. Unless I'm going for a window or something for the claymores. Very good operator. For Flores, I haven't played him in a little bit now. Same thing as his Thatcher earlier, except for I run the 2X on him, I guess. Either way though, you can't go wrong. There's that. Never use the DMR. At least I don't. Stuns or claymore, depends on what you're trying to do. OSA. I'd recommend using the PDW on OSA, extended barrel 1.5 vert grip, just like that. If you use this one though, there's that. And I usually run EMPs on her. She's a good EMP operator. Her, Lion, Dokkaebi, stuff like that. So you're going to be your best EMP operators. Good luck. Okay, Sense. I need to play Sense more too. I feel like this gun's pretty decent actually now. I'd recommend running the 1.5 on there with the flash and vert grip, and it's not too bad. It feels like kind of like a mixture of Jaeger's. Like Jaeger's gun. It's kind of like Jaeger's gun mixed with Mozzie's Commando, but with more recoil. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but still a really good gun. I like it. And then Gone 6 Hard Breach. Very good combo, as I've been saying this entire time. So they're not too bad. Going on to Grim. This gun is one of the best in the game. 2x extended barrel, vert grip. Run this. 52 damage with a 2x is insane. You're going to be fragging out. Then run the Bailiff, obviously, with the Claymore or Hard Breach. Even Breach isn't bad if you're going for vert play, I guess. But yeah, Grim's a very good operator this season now. I'm glad they fixed him. Brava, probably the same thing as Capitao. Yep. Just the angle grip on there. Just like that. Why do I have the pistol equipped? You can tell I barely played Brava at all yet. I have not played her much since the last season on the main account. And then I'd recommend Smokes unless you're going for Windows or whatever. Kind of like Twitch. She's very similar to Twitch, even the gadgets are. But we are going to move on to the defenders now. Okay, on Smoke, like I said earlier, let me go for the FMG first. I would recommend using extended barrel or flash hider on him, since you're on defense now. I only use the suppressor on Nook, honestly. I haven't used that on Smoke in so long, that's why it wasn't even equipped right. And then the shotgun, I'd recommend using no laser or anything, so it doesn't give your position away. It does help in some fights, but I recommend just doing this. But if you can position correctly, laser's not horrible. I just prefer this, and it feels like making rotates better with no laser too. And then I like Reflex A on all my shotguns, like I mentioned before. This is my SMG 11 here. I've always used this since like the start of the game. At least when they took the ACOG away from that gun. And I always run Barb on Smoke. There's my Smoke setup. Mute, it's going to be the exact same thing on the shotgun. For the MP5, I run Hollow A with extended barrel. On Wamai, I use flash hider, but I feel like it's fine on Mute since you're not as scoped in. Same thing on the SMG too. Castle and Pulse are pretty much going to be the same. I use the UMP with extended barrel and angle grip. Actually, I'm going to switch this on this account. My other accounts are right, but I use suppressor vert grip right now. I feel like that's really good. Castle for the UMP. And then I use the super shorty with procs. Okay, on Pulse, it's going to be the same thing. Actually, I'm going to use the extended barrel and angle grip on Pulse. I feel like on Castle, it's better kind of because you're not going to be playing as aggressive or anything. But for Pulse, I do like the extra damage in case you're trying to shoot somebody through a floor or whatever, or through a wall. So you could kill them just a little bit faster because that fire rate is terrible. Don't get me wrong. I use this pistol, by the way, on the FBI operators. I feel like it's better than this. I don't need all that ammo. I just like the damage higher. For Doc and Rook, I use the same thing. Extended barrel vert grip, but I use the 2x on Rook. 1.5 on Doc. Either way, you can't go wrong. And then the Bailiff on Doc, obviously, or you're throwing. Yeah, like I said, same thing on Rook. For Capcan, I use the Hollow A extended barrel vert grip. I feel like this is another good operator to use the extended barrel on. A lot of the time, it'll make it a 3-shot instead of a 4 by using this. So I'd always recommend. Same thing with the zombie for this gun. And then I use the PMM, a lot better pistol than the other. If you use this one, then you're doing something wrong. This pistol's insane. And then C4 usually, but if you want to make rotates or whatever, counter OSA a little bit better, then run impacts, I guess. Or impact trick even. Impacts are not that bad either. Tachanka, you have the, not that. I've not played Tachanka on my main account since the change, but I use the 2X now. Flash hider, nope. Run the extended on there, just like on Capcan with a vert grip. Very good setup. This is one of the best guns on defense right now with a 2X. And you also have the Bearing 9. Crazy. Jaeger used to be my main back in the day till the 1.5 and everything started happening. But I still run the same thing I always have. Hollow A, flash, vert. Bandit right now, I'm actually doing this thing on this gun where I run suppressor with the iron sights. I feel like they're very good on the MP7. I'm doing it on Fenrir as well. I've been using that a lot recently, and it has been the play, I can confirm. So I'd really recommend that. I only run the suppressor because it just feels nice when I'm shooting. I don't know. I have no recoil anyway, so why not? Just throw it on there. But extended barrel would be good too, just because of that reasoning. And then run C4, obviously. On Frost, I run the flash hider instead of extended barrel. Honestly, that's just for the being able to hide in a corner a little bit better because it's not so long. This extended barrel is very, very long for some reason. But I would recommend running it still. Flash hider is not bad either, though. Always run angle grip, though. There's not much recoil on this gun. And then there's the shotgun. And always run shield on Frost. She's going to be one of the best shield ops now. I don't play Valkyrie compared to other ops as much because her gun's a little bit weaker now, but it's still a headshot machine. I run extended barrel on there for the damage buff because it's very bad. And then hollow A vert. I have the little nest set up there to match the charm. Very nice color scheme. I also have the banana blaster from back in the day. I remember going crazy in the casual matches on like Favela with this thing. I would always run this on Favela quick match. My banana blaster. On Cav, I always run shotgun with the reflex A again on shotguns, like I always do. And then the pistol, I don't run laser, not suppressor. I don't run laser though because it gives away your location. You're probably going to be hiding when you're playing Caveira, so you don't want to do that. Just don't hip fire from far away and you'll be fine. And I always run impacts so I can make rotates and get away a little bit better. Echo's one of my favorite operators to play in the game for sure. Not much to do on him. Very easy gun setups. There you go. I run impacts usually because my team doesn't make rotates the best where I want them, or I can just open hatches more in the room. For Mira, I have not used her in a long time, I'm not going to lie, but just the standard stuff, like I always have. There's the shotgun again, C4. This is going to be a very long video, by the way, so if you made it this far, I guess you really want to know my attachments. Okay, for Legion, Hollow A, Extended Barrel Vert Grip, I run the same thing on Oryx too. I feel like Extended Barrel is another necessary thing on this gun. That's a common theme on a lot of my operators. Extended Barrel is good, no doubt. Okay, for Ella, she's actually going to be a rare one where I use the Compensator instead of the Flash Hider. I know this is a different one. She doesn't have Extended right now. She has Extended Barrel, I might use that even. She doesn't have much recoil these days, to be honest. It feels really good with a Compensator now since they buffed that especially. That fire rate just goes crazy, 1100. That's one of the best in the game. Here's the shotgun if you wanted to see that. Also Extended Barrel, which is kind of nuts. Haven't used that in a long time though now. On Vigil, I run the Hollow A, suppressor vert grip, kind of like Cav. You're going to be sneaking around with Vigil a lot, so the suppressor makes sense. But extended barrel is not bad either if you want to put that on there. I go back and forth. And again on the SMG-12, love that gun. My Boss G looks like this. I use ACOG vert grip, so I'm trying to meme with it. I haven't played Maestro in a bit, but he is good at impact tricking certain things. Like on Oregon, you can actually do the light ball below the main breach and get anything off the wall. Insane tip. A lot of people don't know about that. But Hollow A flash vert grip on him. That gun does go kind of crazy though, with the 81 bullets. Bailiff and the impacts usually. I do love Alibi's gun right now, even without the 1.5 like she used to have. Very good one. Solid gun to use. Bailiff, and then the new drum blockers on her. Clash, there's nothing to show on Clash really. I've already showed you those guns. For Cade, I actually use the TCSG 1.5 suppressor and vert grip. Why not throw the suppressor on? It doesn't make anything worse. So if you're not using the suppressor, you're throwing. I use this to make little lines of sight. It's better than that gun. This gun is not good. I've never used this thing really too much since they took the 1.5 away, but there it is. For Mozzie, one of the most popular operators here, I use 1.5 extended and vert. Sometimes use angle grip too though, but you're for sure going to want to use extended barrel since he doesn't have much recoil. Very good option. And you want to land your shots because he doesn't have many bullets either. Here's the commando though as well, if you want to use that. Big cheesehead. Warden, also another one of the most popular ops right now. I use flash vert, but if you want to use extended barrel, wouldn't be mad at you either. Another very good option. I just really go for headshots with this gun, so I want the flash so it has no recoil whatsoever. And then SMG, same stuff. For Goyo, same thing as Mira, but with a 1.5, so a little bit better, just because of that. TSCSG, also another good option on him. Don't know why I don't have the suppressor on. I don't really use that though, because the Vector with the 1.5 is so good anyway. And impacts for sure. Lamont, another really popular operator. Since he got his 1.5 back, I used the flash hider like I said earlier when I was talking about mute. Just for the recoil. Always use this gun too so you can make lines of sight and stuff. I feel like it's a good secondary option to have too. Very high damage. 80's kind of nuts. I usually use procs, but impacts are also very good. Just depends on what you're trying to do. Or if you're solo queue or not. Like I said for Legion earlier, same thing on Oryx. With the Bailiff. For Malusi, I use Hollow A suppressor vert grip. I have this one strat on Clubhouse I do from the oil pit, so that's why I run suppressor, so people don't know where I'm shooting from. But extended barrel, the next best option for the usual kind of plays. I actually haven't been able to do that for a bit now since I haven't played my main much this season. On Aruni, I run the DMR, same thing as Dokkaebi, like I mentioned. And for the Roni, that's what I have on her. For Thunderbird, I would never play her. She's one of the worst defenders right now. But there's the setup on this gun if you want it. And the shotgun. And the bearing. She is just not very good now since they took her C4 and impacts away. And they nerfed her. Directly. There's the Thorn gun. This gun is insane with the extended barrel, 40 damage. Very, very nice gun to use. I do enjoy playing Thorn, being able to put barbed wire and all your Thorn gadgets around. So much you can cut off when you're solo queuing with her. Very underrated defender for solo queuing. Suppressor I use on that. Okay, a zombie, like I mentioned earlier as well with Capcan, I use extended barrel with a vert grip hollow A. If I use this gun, it's going to be this, but I don't because that gun's not good. For Solus, the P90, one of the best guns in the game as well for defense. So many bullets, such a high fire rate. If you can hit headshots, this is going to be your best gun to use probably, let me tell you. I use flash hider on there, but extended barrel, also not a bad option because the damage is very weak. And there's the SMG again, if you wanted to see. I need to play Solus more on my other accounts. There's Fenrir, like I was saying earlier, with the iron sight suppressor setup. And always use the bailiff on him. That's going to round out all the operators in the game, though, so hopefully this video helped you guys out with your attachment setups and your loadouts. I went over all loadouts, every single one. If I did miss anything, let me know in the comments down below. Give me your thoughts on what you like using on certain operators. Feel free to tell me anything you want down in the comments. Just try to keep it respectful. We don't need to bash other people's preferences in the comments down there. Leave a like if you did enjoy this one, though, and found it helpful. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.